gotcha.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, Viva Las freaking Vegas. WrestleMania 42. And I am not alone. After all, this show would not be what it is without the one, the only, the wrestling. Every single flipping time.
Don't worry about it. The belt will be mine soon. You won't have to worry about that shit.
Wait, but that would mean that I'm also not winning. But
That's kind of a given.
let's yeah, listen, I resemble that remark. But before we get to the rest of that, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your prediction champion, the greatest of all time, with 8 exclamation points. The man that every lady dreams of having his pizza baby. Celebrating with all of you here in Wenz World, the last real analyst, Vincent Kennedy Booch, for the time being.
I would like to point out that generally a food baby is a shit. That's all I'm going to say.
Let the excretions begin. I mean, let's get it going. This is a 2-night affair, gentlemen, and we don't have a lot of time, and these people are demanding our predictions and shenanigans. So let's get to it. Night 1, April 18th, Saturday. If you don't have ESPN like me, buy a VPN. Des will send you the link. The Vision and I Show Speed. You know, if you know YouTube, you know him. With Paul Heyman in tow, taking on the Usos and LA Knight in a opening match. Obviously, this is going to set the tone, get the energy up, right? 6-man tag team match, no belts on the line. I want to go first, if that's okay, guys. I'm concerned that LA Knight is going to get buried again, even if he doesn't take the pin on this match. I'm very concerned that because of the star power of Logan Paul and Speed, that we're going to see an end that does not deserve to be had by the WWE Universe. However, I'm going to believe the best. I am going to put it on the line and say that the Usos and LA Knight defeat the Vision. Vincent Kennedy Booch, resident champion for the time being. What say you about this opening show match?
Well, Wenz, I like to say I admire your optimism. If only I could feel the same way, because I've learned one thing when it comes to WWE, and this has been true for as long as I've watched it, and that is, don't trust Triple H. I don't. I want to so bad. I really, really, really do. I really do, because I love LA Knight. I mean, LA Knight is too good a wrestler to be involved in this bullshit. But sadly, he is involved in this bullshit, and I think they're not going to let the Vision take a loss, and they're going to let I Show Speed look good here, because it's possible. It's a doable thing. We've seen undeserving celebrities get victories over wrestlers, one notably in Puerto Rico, but that's another story for another day. So I'm just going to go with the Vision and I Show Speed, because I'm convinced they're winning this. So I'll go with them.
Yeah, I think you're a dumbass, Vinny. One of two things is going to happen. Now, if the Vision wins, I Show Speed has to fully commit to being a heel. He needs to go from being the coward to suddenly doing a cheap shot and helping the Vision win. I don't see it happening. Instead, I think that they have specifically been building I Show Speed as being a coward. They've specifically built him as being not wanting to be in the Vision and wishing to be separate. And I think what's going to end up happening is, in the end, his conscience is going to get the better of him, and he's going to screw over the Vision. And I think that or potentially the Vision could just use him as a fall guy, tag him in so that they don't take the fall, and they can just blame him later. But at the end of the day, this is the opening match of night 1. It's about setting the tone, getting the hype going. This is a match for the faces to win.
I love it. And that means that there are 2 for the Usos and LA Knight and 1 for the Vision. And we will link this amazing video. We got so busy at the top of the show that Deshausen, Damascus Des, loved and beloved here in Wenz World, he put on, if you didn't see it, you guys got to check out the last episode, because as we left the show, we'll link the video, but Deshausen, has cursed Vincent Kennedy Bucci, and at the time, Bucci laughed it off. You're going to have to see the follow-up to this. And now we're going to get to the follow-up to the first match, and that is Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match. I'm very surprised this is happening, it being unsanctioned and all. Pun intended. Damascus Des. This, to me, is pretty cut and dry, but I want to get your take first, and then to our resident champion, Vincent Kennedy Bucci.
I mean, you say it's cut and dry, and in a lot of ways I can see it. I feel like Drew McIntyre needs it more. Drew's taken a lot of losses, and I have a hard time with watching someone that talented continue to take big L's when he is a main event player. But at the same time, Jacob Fatu is hot right now. People are loving him, and that's something we got to consider. I think in the end of this one, Jacob Fatu has more enemies right now that are willing to be focused on him than Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre has enemies, but they're very much focused on other people. So I think somebody's going to end up screwing over Jacob Fatu. And I think Drew McIntyre is going to win this one.
Wow. Excellent choice. Our first pick, Vincent Kennedy Bucci, the last real analyst in Wenz World. Your thoughts, sir?
First of all, it's analyst. Thank you. And second of all,
honest mistake.
yes.
Mistake.
Wenz got it right the first time.
So, but I'm just gonna say here, I'm definitely going with Jacob completely, because I feel like it's WrestleMania. It's gonna be a big win for him. I haven't seen much of Jacob. I mean, we've seen Jacob like in feuds and brawls, but as far as like matches, it's been a while since he's had a real big one, real big match. So I feel like this is going to be a moment for him, because he had the attack, he had the return, and aside from a match with like Cody Rhodes, he hasn't really like had a big feud yet or had a big win yet. So I feel like this is the one that's coming for him. And like I said, even though Drew's been losing consistently, like we said, he's had people focus on other people. So he hasn't really done it. Like, even if he loses this match, it's not like it's not going to be any worse than it already is. He's pretty much still going to be in the same spot. So I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu. I feel like he's going to get the big win on the big show.
Interesting. I am also going to go with Fatu, and not for all the intrinsic, in-depth analysis or analysis, however you would phrase that, from Vincent Kennedy Bucci, but for the simple fact that he is flying back to Scotland to film a movie. And these things take time, as we've seen from the historic career of The Miz, 2-time Grand Slam champion. These things take time. Oh, Vincent Bucci, you started to quiver a little bit when I mentioned the. Anyway, we don't want to.
Yes, you mentioned the general wart on WWE's no place, and it made me uncomfortable. So, but continue.
Well, you can point to where Miz touched you, but in the meantime, I am going to point to Jacob Fatu as our winner for match 2 of night 1. So that means that we have 2 for Fatu and 1 for McIntyre. This is looking like a pretty interesting matchup, guys. We already have some diversity in our setting, so to speak. Now on to the third match. Our champion and Dez's future ex-wife, Stephanie Vaquer, taking on Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. Woo, boy. Vincent Kennedy Bucci, you have waited patiently, sir. You are a scholar, a saint, and a gentleman.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Vinny has had some choice words for Liv Morgan in the past. How do you feel about her character work right now?
Well, I have no idea. I just know that Liv, I know that WWE, since WWE has a hard on for subtitles, Liv has had to pretty much carry this thing on the mic. And at first, I was bored to tears, but then I've seen Liv having to step up, having to carry, fading in and out of English and Spanish at one point to kind of keep the feud going. And am I excited for this match? No, but I can't deny that she's picked up the slack. At first, I didn't think she was gonna, but she had to pick up the slack. So I am slightly impressed. I'm not marking out, but I will admit she's showing she can carry a feud, which I did not think she was capable of doing.
I very much like the fact that she's actually like her acting is on point. Like she looks like she's truly losing her shit. And it looks like she pulled a Paul Heyman and didn't sleep one night to get the red in her eyes. Like it was really good.
Again, she's having to carry this. And again, this is not something she's done well before, but she's doing well now. So I will say for this feud, she's doing her job.
I feel like many people would disagree with that, with the fact because
But you're asking me the question, I'm giving you the answer. I'm saying you said, how do we feel about her now? So that's the topic we're on. We're not talking about the past. So I'm saying right now she's doing great. I'm liking it. She's having to carry the feud, and I've never seen her in a way I've never seen her do it before. So she's getting people excited. So that's what I'm intrigued about. And I'll even go as far as to say, I'm looking at it like this. There's three Judgment Day matches on here. I look at one match. There's one guy in particular. Ain't no way he's winning his match. If he wins, Triple H should be tarred and feathered in the middle of the freaking TKO office. And the other guy, he's basically their glorified jobber, so he ain't walking out with gold. So I feel like Judgment Day needs a win somewhere. I think Liv's going to take it.
Are you saying that JD McDonough doesn't deserve the Intercontinental Championship? Is that what you're implying here, Booch?
That's exactly what I'm saying. He's their jobber.
not the way that he's been booked recently. They've got to do a lot of building before they give him a title.
Yeah, he needs time.
It has nothing, and I'll say this, it has absolutely nothing to do with him. It's the way the story has been built. He is a top talent, but has not been booked as a top talent.
No, he was booked better in NXT. I'll even say that. In NXT, he was booked very well.
Right.
Because he was one of those guys that was very calculating. He could talk about certain body parts and use like their medical terms when he would snap somebody's arm. He would use like the medical textbook term. You're like the epidermy side of the flag. You're like, what the fuck is that? Like, you don't know, but he would say it. And
I'm going to go ahead and say that in this particular case, I agree with you. Liv Morgan's walking out with this belt.
Thank you, Deshausen, for wrapping up that soliloquy there from Vincent Kennedy Bucci. I appreciate it, Booch. You are the wrestling encyclopedia, but people have things to do. They have places to go. They have WrestleManias to watch. I wanted to go with Liv Morgan before both of you did. And now I feel like I got to put my flag in the sand. Now I'm going to say that Stephanie will retain the Women's World Championship. It hurts saying it because I know it's not going to happen. Moving forward, AJ Lee, our Women's Intercontinental Champion, taking on Becky Lynch. Real fast, Des, who you got in this one?
I'm going to go Becky.
Wow, short reign for AJ Lee.
Well, I don't see her sticking around full time. I feel like they gave her the belt just to hold it till she get her WrestleMania moment and they're moving on. I want it to be AJ. I want AJ to stick around, but I don't think she's gonna.
I feel it. He's feeling it, Booch. You feeling the same vibe or what?
I don't know. Every week I think this can't get more cringe than it does. I'm ready for this to end desperately. Like again, I said before, I know the match is going to be good, but the week to week kill me. Just kill me. Jesus God. But I'm going to go with Becky for only one reason. Because I saw a clip of Becky and AJ that did not sit well with me. And it was so fucked in the head that if Becky doesn't win, she looks like the biggest weakling on the planet. I watched AJ Lee look this woman in the eye and say that when you ask your daughter who her favorite wrestler is, she's going to say AJ Lee, and then got up and left. Now, unless there is a no contact clause that I was not aware of, where they can't touch each other or the match is off, that should have ended with Becky snatching that bitch's hair and tossing her through a goddamn plated glass window. I watched Seth Rollins walk away with security while Paul Heyman talked shit, brought up his daughter, he circumvented the security, got back into the ring, and beat the dog shit out of Paul Heyman. So apparently, Seth loves his daughter more than Becky does. At least that's what the story I got here. Maybe, add that. So Becky has to win.
I think it's more about the fact that Becky was showing in a matter of being in shock. Like, did she fucking just say that? And it was one of those, that was it.
Okay. I could buy that.
Sometimes you get the mic drop moment and you walk away before they react, and that's done.
Okay, I could buy that. But I'm just sitting there like, how is she still alive? Like, I watched Seth Rollins beat the shit out of a manager for bringing up his daughter.
Becky is regularly attacking AJ Lee, so you can't really, you see what I'm saying? It's not like she's not gotten her receipts a few times.
No, yeah, but I was just like, what? How?
I'm going to take Becky Lynch also.
Okay.
I think it's her time to get this IC championship and to listen. She's an elevator, man. I mean, she's proven it before. She'll prove it again. And I think you're onto something, Des. I don't think that AJ Lee is going to be a week to week moving forward. Much perhaps kind of like the Bella Twins. Speaking of, they're involved in a match in night one against the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra, the aforementioned Bella Twins. Fatal 4-way tag team for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Vincent Kennedy Bucci. Who's your pick for this one?
Oh, it's Las Vegas. It's the place to gamble. And this will probably be the biggest gamble I take in my life. I'm going with the Bella Twins for the simple fact that they have not won singles gold, and they're probably not going to get it. But if anyone in the history of women's wrestling should have tag team belts around their waist, it's the Bella Twins. This belts were literally, they were a tag team before tag team titles even existed. So just out of respect, you got to give them a run. It don't even have to be, it could be a month, it could be a week, you can do what you did last year, have them win the belts and then drop them 24 hours later. It's been done. I'm just saying, I don't care how long it is. You got to give the Bellas at least once run with the tag belts. They don't need to be the world champions. They don't need to win the mid-card belts. But at the very least, the bare minimum, give them the tag belts. At least. And it works here because they got 3 people they can pin and not bury. They could pin Charlotte. They could pin Alexa Bliss. They could pin Bayley. And none of them would get hurt. Don't pin Lyra. But the other two, they're still kind of, maybe Nia Jax. Nia's a maybe. But definitely not Lash, definitely not Lyra. But they don't even have to pin the champs to take the belts. They could pin any of the other 3 I mentioned, walk out. The Irresistible Force can say, we weren't involved in the decision, get their rematch. And then on SmackDown, they just take them back. And the Bellas can go back to doing whatever they were doing. So I'm saying, I'm going with that. I said the Bella Twins take it.
I love it. I love the spirit behind it. Desmond, what say you, sir?
I've said it before, I'll continue to say it. The more people involved in the match, the more likely that the champions retain the title. Lash Legend and Nia Jax are retaining the belts.
You know what? For the sake of parity, I'm gonna go with Bailey and Lyra. I think this is good. This might be the match of the night, guys. The women have a tendency to put it on the line. I know. Listen, I'm getting blank stares here. That's okay.
Well,
Listen,
well, that's because the last time there was a fatal four-way women's match, it shit the bed at WrestleMania 39. The men, though, the men crushed it, but the women shit the bed. So it's not historically at WrestleMania, fatal four women's matches haven't gone well. But you said Bailey and Lyra?
I'll say Bailey and Lyra. And also, this is an opportunity before we move on to Seth Rollins and Gunther, is bring back the fatal four-way elimination match. That way we don't have this first pin, first submission nonsense. I'm tired of it. Bring it back. Okay, moving forward. Seth Rollins and Gunther, no gold on the line, just ego and pride. But let's be honest, man, Gunther has retired quite a few superstars within the last 12 months. I'm going to go first here if that's okay, guys. I'm going to say that although I feel like Seth, I wouldn't say needs a win. I think it would be nice if he had a win. I think it would be stupid to not let the train keep rolling for Gunther. I'm going to take Gunther in this match. Whoever wants to go next, feel free.
I'm going with Seth. Just got back from injury. Needs to reestablish himself once again. And Gunther, with the streak he's been on, isn't gonna drop far from a loss, especially with a loss to somebody as high profile as Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I'm going with Seth too, but it's because there's no train that's going to get derailed. It's already at a pit stop in the station because he retired John Cena and has pretty much just been sitting in catering since then. He was in the Royal Rumble, got thrown out. He didn't even qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Like, his next step should have been WWE title. Like, you literally just retired the greatest of all time. You made the guy who never gives up give up. And now you're basically just going to make him sit around with his thumb up his ass until it's time to retire Brock. Like, it's for goddamn ridiculous. Seth, as Desmond mentioned, just came back from injury and is only facing Gunther because Braun and Bronson are on the shelf. They're injured. So there's nobody from the Vision. I thought it was going to be either him and Austin Theory, or we were going to see Logan Paul, Seth Rollins too. But instead, they're giving us him and Gunther because Paul's going to hire some hired gun because they want to throw Gunther on the card, but he had nobody to work with. There's a rumor he might retire Rey Mysterio, but then they decided to, I guess, push that for a later date. I don't know, but
Real fast, something that made me laugh. I saw something that said, why did Jericho go back to AEW? Well, because he talked to Triple H and they wanted him to have a retirement run ending with Gunther, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna go back this way.
He's like, I ain't ready yet. But yeah, it's going to be Seth Rollins because if Gunther takes this loss, they're not doing it. They'll just wait for him to retire Brock Lesnar and this will all go away. This match literally means nothing. And that's not a knock on the two guys involved. It's literally just a thrown together match because the guy Seth should face got injured. This is a pivot and they're just there. And it's fact me to say that.
I have to agree with everything you just said there. Every bit of it.
Mark it. The history has been made here. Cody Rhodes, our champion, our undisputed WWE champion, taking on Randy Orton with Pat McAfee. Why? Okay. Anyway, if Orton loses, McAfee will leave the professional wrestling industry permanently. Okay, cool. We all know that Randy Orton is not going to lose because he is going to win this and continue the chase towards 16, right? This would be 15 for him, correct?
He doesn't need 16. He doesn't need 16. We'll have Triple H at 14, Randy at 15, Ric Flair at 16, and Cena at 17.
You don't think they're going to let him compete for Flair's 16?
Let him. He might eventually. I don't, but there's no real reason for it unless he intends on getting 18.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're planning on parting ways with Pat McAfee. He's built a brand unto WWE. He's cross-branded it with ESPN. ESPN and WWE are in cahoots, TKO. You've heard it before, and you'll hear it again. I will go with Randy Orton. Even though this would be the swerve of all swerves, wouldn't it, guys? Wouldn't this be something? Booch, what do you think?
I think the way this has been booked is absolutely brilliant. There's a lot of hate on this, but it was a necessity. And I'm going to tell you why. Last time we were on this show, we talked about this. Desmond and I specifically. You could have done this match. Teacher against student, old lion against young lion, and you could have had just two baby faces and it would have worked. But we discussed the possibility of one of them turning heel. I said, if anybody should turn heel, it's going to be Cody, because I don't think the fans would boo Randy Orton. Desmond believed that if Randy did turn heel, the fans would boo. And from the moment he turned heel to the moment Pat McAfee showed up, I was right. Pat showed up, Desmond is now right. Because Pat McAfee showing up and lying with Randy Orton pissed everyone off because when he heard he was calling somebody on the phone, people thought it was The Rock. People thought it was his father, Cowboy Bob Orton. Some people even went far left field and thought it was going to be Vince McMahon or maybe Shane. I heard rumors about that. Not one person thought Pat McAfee.
You're missing the person that I heard the most of.
Who?
Ted DiBiase Jr.
That too. That was another possibility.
Because he officially got cleared on his court cases.
On his charges, yeah. So it could be any of those. And instead it was Pat McAfee. And guess what? Randy Orton's now getting the boos that he needs. Because he beat the dog shit out of Cody, left him bloodied, and the fans cheered it. Because they love the dangerous Randy Orton. They hate the white meat babyface, because anyone who is pure of heart, wrestling fans hate. They hate what they don't understand. And so they got to deal with this. So how do you get Cody cheered? How do you get Randy booed? You bring in Pat McAfee, who no one wanted to see, have him turn heel, have him cut these promos, and now you've got your story. So Pat McAfee is the catalyst for getting the story told that you need. It's how the heel gets his heat. It's how the babyface gets his praise. And you had no idea who was going to win until Pat McAfee decided to say, I will leave the wrestling industry permanently. And as soon as we heard that, we went, okay, Randy's winning 15.
Exactly. So why do it?
It gave us
Why
the
do it?
ending right there, because you're not getting rid of Pat. He's too involved in WWE. He has the bridge with ESPN. There's talks of when his ESPN contract expires, Netflix might pick him up because Netflix is doing podcasts now. So he might get put over there. So he's too deep into the company, and his promos are too freaking over to the point where he might even start feuding with CM Punk next because he started talking shit. So we don't know where it's going. So yeah, Randy Orton's winning. He's getting number 15 and he deserves it.
Most of what Vinny said, I completely agree with. Randy's winning this match. I mean, McAfee came out and said something that he didn't need to say, saying that he would leave. That killed the suspense of it.
Yep. That's everything. And we'll be back with night 2 of WrestleMania 4-2 coming real soon. In the meantime, check out
That's up to you.
Deshausen's Curse on Vincent Kennedy Bucci, linked at the end of this video. We will never, ever leave you without a few key catchphrases, one of which is, have a nice day.
Double cursed.